Obanuju was born on a Tuesday, in the middle of Harmattan, when the air was dry enough to crack lips and dusty enough to blind small children. The whole village of Umuozola came alive with excitement when her mother went into labor. A firstborn child always stirred interest, but nothing could have prepared them for what came out of Mama Neka's belly that day. The moment the baby arrived, the midwife paused. Her mouth dropped open. Her hands, still wet, hung in the air. At first, they thought something was wrong. Then the midwife started laughing, uncontrollably. The kind of laugh that starts deep in the belly and refuses to stop. She pointed at the baby and said, this one came with her own umbrella." The baby's nose was massive. It wasn't a little wide or slightly big, it was a mountain sitting in the middle of a baby's face. If the average nose was a doorbell, Obanuju's nose was a cathedral bell tower. It had curves, length, shadow. It was the kind of nose that made you stop and wonder what stories it carried inside. The news spread before the umbilical cord was even cut. Neka has given birth. To what? To a baby girl with a nose like a yam mound. Children gathered outside the compound, hoping to catch a glimpse. Old women shook their heads and said it was the work of the ancestors. Men laughed and joked about it for days. Even Obanuju's father, Okeke, a respected palm wine tapper, stared at his daughter for a long time and whispered, "This one has carried all the noses in our lineage." At first, everyone expected it to shrink. "It's just baby swelling," they said. "She'll grow into it." But by the time she turned 5, the nose had only grown bolder. It entered rooms before she did. Birds used it for shade. One time, she tripped and landed on it. It saved her from a broken tooth. The children in the village didn't help. They called her names: Nose Past Giraffe, Sniff Queen, Auntie Yam Nose. They sang songs behind her back. One of the most popular was Obanuju, Obanuju. When she breathed, the trees go move. If she sneezed, the goats they run. Nose way long like Papa Farm. She didn't cry in public. Obanuju just walked past them quietly, clutching her books and her lunch bowl, pretending not to hear. But inside, she was collecting every word, every name, every laugh, folding it neatly and keeping it in a secret room in her heart. Despite everything, she was smart. Always first in class. She could spell words the teacher couldn't pronounce. She could draw maps of the whole of Africa from memory. But no one saw that. All they saw was the nose. At night, she'd lie in bed and ask questions no one could answer. Why her? Why this nose? Did she offend someone in the spirit world before being born? Was her head too full of beauty, so it spilled to her nose? Her mother tried to console her. Uju, your nose is not a curse. It's different, yes. But one day, this nose will do something the world cannot ignore. She smiled when her mother said that. But in her heart, she didn't believe a word. Years passed. She grew taller, wiser, quieter. By the time she was 17, people had stopped teasing her. Not because they had matured, but because her silence had become unnerving. She walked with quiet dignity, her big nose held high. She didn't respond to jests. She didn't laugh at jokes. Her presence made people uncomfortable, not because of the nose anymore, but because she carried it like it belonged to a queen. Then, during the peak of the dry season, just 2 weeks before the New Yam Festival, something strange began to happen. People in Umuozola started falling ill. It began with small things: random sneezing, headaches, confusion. Then it grew worse. Farmers forgot where they planted their crops. Women cooked soup with salt instead of pepper. A young man called his fiancée Mama by mistake. The town crier lost his voice. And most terrifying of all, the chief forgot his own name during a meeting with neighboring elders. Panic spread. The dibia tried his herbs. The elders tried sacrifices. Even the town madman prayed. But nothing worked. Then one night, Obanuju smelled something. Not just any smell. A rotten, ancient, bitter scent that clung to the wind like a stubborn spirit. She woke up choking on it. No one else smelled it. Just her. It lingered the next day, and the day after. No matter where she went, it followed her. So she followed it back. She traced the smell through the village, past the chief's compound, through the abandoned yam barns, to the forest edge. There, hidden beneath a fallen tree, she found something buried under dry leaves and thyme. A broken calabash with ancient carvings. Wrapped in faded red cloth. Inside was ash, a charmed feather, and a small bone. The smell hit her full force. It wasn't just rot, it was evil. Someone had disturbed something they shouldn't have. She didn't wait. She ran to the palace, burst in while the chief was struggling to remember what yam looked like, and said, "There's something buried in the forest. It's broken. It's cursed. That's what's causing the illness." They laughed. One of the elders said, "You want to solve a spiritual problem with that your extra long nose." But Obanuju stood her ground. "Laugh if you like, but go and see it." The next day, they followed her. When they found the calabash, even the dibia fell silent. It was an ancient seal, placed generations ago to contain a curse. Someone had accidentally dug it up. They began a week-long ritual of cleansing and sacrifice. Bit by bit, the illness faded. Memory returned. The chief recognized his wife again. The town crier screamed louder than ever. Life returned to Umuozola. And it was all thanks to Obanuju's nose. From that moment, everything changed. People stopped whispering when she walked past. The children who once teased her now offered her roasted corn and begged her to walk them to school. Her nose had gone from village joke to village treasure. They called her Obanuju the seer. Obanuju the one who sniffs evil. Mothers asked her to check their baby's breath. Hunters took her along to sniff out dangerous paths. Even the dibia started inviting her to his rituals, not to learn, but to lead. Obanuju remained calm through it all. She didn't become proud. She just lived, quietly, her steps firm and nose lifted, not in arrogance, but in purpose. Then, during another festival season, a stranger arrived in the village. A young man named Chism, who had returned from the city. He was tall, kind, and could dance like someone born to the drum. He came to visit his uncle, but one afternoon at the village stream, he met Obanuju. She was washing bitter leaf, bent over slightly, humming to herself. He stopped. Looked. And looked again. Not at the nose. At her. He greeted her, and she returned the greeting. He made a joke. She rolled her eyes but smiled. From that day, he kept showing up. At the stream. At the market. Outside her compound, pretending to be lost. People warned him. "Are you sure you want to pursue Nose General?" But Chisholm just laughed. "That girl smells the truth. How can you lie to someone who can smell fear?" Eventually, he asked to court her. Then he asked to marry her. On their wedding day, Obanuju wore a red blouse and wrapper, beads that caught the sun, and her nose stood proud, uncovered, unbent, and unbothered. The villagers cheered. The children danced. Even the chief gave a speech, ending it with, "Sometimes, the thing we mock is the thing that saves us." Today, the people of Umuozola tell a different story. They say Obanuju's nose touched the sky not because of its size, but because of what it carried. A gift. A purpose. A power no one understood at first. And sometimes, when the wind is strong, they say it still carries the scent of that broken calabash, just to remind everyone, what you laugh at today may save your life tomorrow.